Right.
We started out
Take
and
two.
Riz's internet fucked, so then...
Right.
Right,
So
okay.
we're going
remember,
back
guys,
at
next
it.
time an Indian man phones you to offer you Wi-Fi, it's not always that great.
Yo, listen, you fucking prick.
Don't take internet of an Indian salesman.
Hold on.
We were having a nice chat as well.
I'm just doing a
About
check
injuries.
right now on my fucking internet. Yeah.
He's still pausing my side. He's freezing still. I bet your speed check's shit.
Yeah.
Fuck off, bro. My internet is pulling out.
I mean, no matter what its speed is, they've sold him one.
It's a little bit slow.
9 million bytes a second or something.
He's still freezing on my side,
What's
mate.
this fucking thing doing?
Now, really,
Yeah,
on a level, mate, I need to get new internet. What do I get?
Oh, this
And
internet's violating me today.
Riz is always the one that goes on about our internet. He's like, "Oh, your internet shit."
Listen,
It's like
my internet is 1,000 meg. I don't know what. D must be watching something.
That's Dee's fault. I knew that. If in doubt, blame your wife.
Yeah,
that's the way it works, mate. If in doubt, blame your wife. Fucking hell.
Messenger, turn your Wi-Fi off.
Disconnect from everything.
That's what I do every night when I play computer games with the boys. They need to turn your fucking Wi-Fi off.
Disconnect from everything. You're affecting my work.
Oh.
Fucking hell.
right, where were we?
Go on.
Right,
go
so
on, Chud, let's go.
We were introducing everything. So, Chuds, how are you? You're back into training.
Back in the training. Sore. Right. But not like the major body parts, but like stuff like my forearms, they can hear, and like the tendons and like stuff like that. But yeah, all is good. All is good.
Are you back on cycle, Chad?
Yeah, so that's starting out. I just got the plan today, so I'm starting out now. Not much. So we're gonna do 600 tests. We're gonna do 50 mega oxy pre-workout, which I'm looking forward to.
Nice.
And I think 200 primo.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That easy.
That's the way to do
Sorry.
it.
Chuck, how you doing, bud? I mean, Hilly?
All's good my side. Busy with work as per. Back to training 4 days after I did full body for 9 weeks before Christmas, and I thoroughly enjoyed the full body sessions, I must say. As a change, it gave me loads more time with Arena over November, December into Christmas, and I thought I would hate them. It's the only thing I've never done full body. I don't know why I always shied away from it, but I actually really enjoyed the sessions. Now I am back, and I just did that while I was growing. Now I am back to 4 days a week, more of a volume split, because again, as we'll touch on, or we were just touching on in the last one that crashed, because with full body I was using a very sort of low volume progressive overload focus, which was enjoyable, but as my weights creeped up, my tendons started to hurt again because I'm fucking old, where the weights were getting higher. So now I am back to 4 days, a day of legs, a day of back. I do legs on a Wednesday and back on a Saturday, but I can rotate them and I keep them like that. So if clients are travelling, clients usually want to train either legs or back. So it lets me have flexibility with clients coming up and down to train. And then Mondays and either Thursday or Friday is delts, chest and arms, because those are the areas that I need more of. So the way I'm doing it is 16 work sets for legs and back, and then 18 work sets for the other muscle groups, but the other muscle groups are split into 2 sessions.
Wait, so is that like a body part split?
Just the body. Yeah.
Okay.
So my weak areas are, or where I want more of in the weak areas is my arms, my one pec, and my delts. So they're getting 2 sessions with a little bit more volume, but it's spread over 2 sessions. And then legs gets 1 session and back gets 1 session. So 4 days.
Hilly needs no more fucking legs. The pictures he sends us are a fucking joke.
See that full body, like the full body thing, like kill me. I couldn't do it. Like I would just hate it. Like I can't think. Go and do a set of back and then go do a set of quads. I just can't. I just would not do it.
I couldn't do full body. I could do upper, lower. I could do
upper. No, I don't know. Upper, lower.
I think if I didn't have an ego and I was in an empty gym, I think I could do full body. And what I mean by that is, obviously, I think the management of volume, sound like a fucking nerd here, I think I would enjoy that bit in the sense of like you would really have to be accurate with that one set. And I also would like to see what the results were off the back of that. That would be interesting to me. I'd enjoy that part of the process, you know?
I really enjoyed it. Like I said, the main reason behind was just to give me more time with Arena. If I was only in the gym 3 days, I could work more, so I have more time with her. Oh, because we had loads of Christmas stuff. And the difference for me is, and I was discussing with someone the other day, I don't really need more back or legs, particularly not legs. Those are the 2 more demanding body parts. And because I've only got 1.5 pecs, I can't do heavy shoulder pressing and I can't do heavy chest pressing. So my CNS demand is different compared to yours when you're training, right? So for me, all of my full body sessions weren't as demanding as some people's might be, because legs for me was last all of the time because they don't need the same amount of effort. So my full body sessions would literally go delts, arms, chest, back, legs. Whereas I think that for people of our strength and the weight we moved, if I had to do legs first, there'd be no point training anything else. I'd be fucked, right? So where full body suits me is I never needed to do legs first. And that's why when people look at training levels and how advanced you are, once people are so strong, full body's not going to work unless you're just doing fucking squats, deadlift and something else. And that's arguable because you're moving that much weight, it's fucking you. Whereas for me, mine was 4 or 5 exercises for delts, 4 or 5 sets only for delts, 4
More
sets.
like it's raises and stuff, no flexing.
Yeah, so I would do, so say Monday's session, I was time restricted, so I would do 3 heavy sets of side laterals, and then I would do 1 set with a drop set of dumbbell front raises. Delts done. Arms would be 2 or 3 sets of heavy dumbbell curls, 2 or 3 sets of heavy V-bar push downs, and then I would do a bi and try superset. So technically it was 4 failure sets within those 2 sort of setups. Yeah. Then I would do chest, which again would be a pressing, but I only press with one side really. So I'd do 2 sets of pressing and 1 set of pec deck, or 2 sets of dips, like a dip machine. Back would be just 3 working sets, either a pull down and a row, or a row and a 1 arm row. Something so like Mondays would always be 2 grips of overhand wide grip pull downs, and then 1 arm underhand lat focus pull downs. On a Wednesday, it would be seated prime upper back row, and then it would be a 1 arm horizontal row, just 4 sets. And then because I was time restricted on a Monday's session would just be 3 failure sets of Smith squats and 1 set of hamstring curls. See you later. On a Wednesday, 2 sets of 1 leg hip press, a set of extensions and a set of hamstring curls. See you later. And Saturday something similar. And as I did it, I adjusted to that volume. I was seeing what I could get away with, what I couldn't get away with more. And again, so I was still doing 9 to 10 failure sets for legs, 9 to 10 failure sets for back, which arguably we would say is your minimum effective volume. So I was still getting enough. And obviously, and then my upper body was getting about 12. But there's no doubt, what was that last picture I sent you? Was there? I put £10 on doing it in 10 weeks. And the last picture, and that was on a cruise for 8 weeks of that. And the last picture I took, where was it? It was just before Christmas.
You know, it might be a
was
bit
that
meatheady.
last picture I took?
Yeah, you look good for it as well. I think it's the best you've been in terms of fullness as well.
There. I was still under a body body camp. I'm 7 weeks into a cruise and I'm £231. Nothing seemed to like Chudley. It seemed, and I enjoyed the sessions. It was hard only being in the gym 3 days a week. That's God's honest truth. But because I had so much planned with Arlena over Christmas, we had 2 or 3 Christmas events planned every weekend. So it took so much stress away from me that I could just spend time with her. Yeah. And I think I enjoyed the sessions more because I knew this is all my only time in the gym. And once I adjusted the volume, I kept expecting to be fucked by Friday, and I wasn't. I just kept getting a little bit stronger every session. I was same as what you just said there. If anybody had ever suggested to me doing full body, I'd say fuck right off. Either I'm too advanced or I won't recover from it.
You have to remember though, you've been doing a lot of wrestling in it with the old missus, so
flexible now with all the shagging.
A bit better condition than that.
Thing is, a lot of it for me might be a bit meatheady, but like I can't think just go to the gym and just do 4 sets of delts. I don't want to do that.
I get that.
What was hard was, especially in the first 3 or 4 weeks, you don't get the same pumps and fullness as you would from anything else. So I was coming home and I was like, I thought my legs were shrinking. I was like, I don't look as round here, but it's because you weren't getting the same blood volume in that one muscle. Yeah. And by the time you'd worked into legs, but over time, as the picture said to you, I was definitely getting bigger and I was enjoying the sessions. But the idea was, because I was spending most of the time cruising, more time with Arlena, I've now, my volume was very low. So you're talking 12 sets for my weaker body parts, and like 8 to 9 sets for back and legs. 10 weeks there I've just done. So now what that then allows me to do is step forward into this high volume body part split. And because I'm doing so much more work at one time, with the muscles, I should not just see, I should see a step forward in growth again, even while I'm cruising, because I'm going from 3 days to 4 days. I'm doing, instead of 10 to 12 sets, I'm doing 16 to 18 sets, but they're all within 1 sessions. So the novel stimulus change should, in theory, see me get further than I was before.
Yeah.
In theory, that's the idea.
I can't think of anything worse going to the gym and doing back and doing a bit of legs. It physically makes me feel sick.
I can do back and then tag a bit of hamstrings at the end.
No,
Yes.
that's a waste.
I could do back and a bit of chest quite comfortably because the pump would be mental. And I could do quad and hams, but
I go gym on a back day, and I'm fucked at the end of doing 10 exercises. The thought of going to do hamstring curl, I'm like, no.
But you wouldn't be doing 10, would you? You'd be doing 2 exercises.
Yeah.
You'd be doing 2, 3 back exercises flat out.
I just can't do the leg ones, bro. At the end, it's just shit.
No, I say right. So let's say, for example, if you're deadlifting on back, or like stiff leg, or like RDL, right? You can do 2 sets of hamstring curl, and then do your RDLs.
Yeah.
And then you get a good, especially if you do conventional, you're going to get a good crossover to quads as an example, and then you can bang a leg extension in afterwards. Like you'll get there by doing it right. You just have to be good at programming that setup so there's a good crossover every time.
I won't lie though, every session, all 3 of them every week, by the time I got to back and chest, I'd be sat there thinking, as if I've got fucking legs still to do here, what the fuck's this about? But, because I knew it was only, on a Monday, it was fucking 2 or 3 sets of squats and a set of fucking hamstring curls. On a Wednesday, because I knew it was only limited volume, it didn't really matter. And I obviously upped my carbs, so I was doing 50 to 60 grams of carbs intra, and I was doing another 50 or 60 grams of carbs immediately post-workout. So I was getting 120 grams of carbs around the workout. I was in a bulking phase, so my carbs were 300 grams of cooked rice per meal, 4 slices of sourdough toast in the morning. I was getting that in every meal sort of thing. And I worked up from 15 IU Atlantis 3 times a week to 30 IU Atlantis 3 times a week. And my GH
That's how you put 10 pounds on.
Yeah, and my GH was 6 IU 3 times a week. So everything was geared around, and I kept Atlantis. Remember I said I kept Atlantis and GH out of everything I was doing before I went into this phase. So as I moved to a cruise, I then brought growth and Atlantis in. So although I dipped down from the cruise, that brought the fullness back and increased the recovery. So I think I played it quite well, to be honest. I was quite happy until I took 8 days off of Christmas and got off my nut twice, and I looked like some shit. Yeah.
Where's how you doing?
I'm doing all right, bro. I've been a little bit poorly, but I've still been training. To be honest, I was. I don't know if I mentioned it last week. I changed the split up a little bit.
What are you doing?
I'm doing what I was doing back
to his 6 days a week.
Back to that 2019. Nah, not 6 days a week, bro. Fuck that. Doing push pull off, legs off, repeat. This way, the benefit is, bro, I never feel like I have a weekend, but that's a nice thing to me, because every day is a work day, and I can rest.
Yeah, but to us, it's like, not to Deck, but to the rest of us, it's like there's no such thing as a weekend. I don't know what day of the week it is. I just, do you know what I mean? Yeah. To us, it's different. Like if you work a normal job, then the weekend is like a big thing. But like to us, it's all the same shit. It all just rolls into one.
Like that was never really a thing for me. But before the little one and stuff, like you're 100% right. That now to me is to the point I would, which I'm against, I would even go as far to train fasted in the morning very early so that I come home and have breakfast and I'm with the family all day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think when people work those 9 to 5s or whatever, or 9 to fucking 8s in my case, the weekend's a lot.
I think the reason why I've gone back to this is because I want to get strong. I want to train often, and I know when I do the volume, I love the volume, right? And I don't think that I've changed all of my clients because I haven't. I just thought to myself, I want to train more often. Well, I can't if I'm doing everything. If I'm doing chest, back, legs, like that, yeah. I'm hitting everything once a week, once every 7 days. This split, I'm hitting everything twice every 10 days.
It's like every 5 days, isn't it? You're hitting it once every 5 days.
Yeah, so when I look at it from like a 10-day perspective, that overall volume over 10 days is greater than it would have been over the 7 days.
Yeah.
And I'm not as pumped in the gym, but while I'm cruising, I feel better
And you're
I'm
great.
not as tired.
We understand the pumps are great, and we understand it is part of it, but we also understand that pumps aren't indicative of new muscle.
Yeah.
No, of course, bro. Look, my goal is simple. I need to bring my
You
legs.
can still get a pump on that.
Yeah.
No, you do, but not as you would on like the high volume. Like
Yeah, but Riz
fucking-
gets half pump for his half reps. Look, it's not the same, Chud.
No, because if you're going to do a push workout, you'll get a lot better pump than if you just train chest. Because you get delts, you get chest, you get triceps.
But I also agree with what Riz is going to say next, which is you don't get that mad pump in the things,
Yeah.
you know?
Bro, do you when you just hit
Bursted.
arms,
Yeah.
your arms are massive. If you do back and bicep, your biceps not that pumped. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But do you know
It's
the
not
best
where-
body part to get a mad pump in is your calves. Especially for pathetic calves like mine. Like when they're pumping, like, bruh, I am
Look at
here,
that, I've got
I am
calves.
flex. I'm going to wear shorts for the rest of the day.
Thing is, though, I think sometimes it's like splitting the workouts and then you do shorter workouts. So I'd even rather split quads and hamstrings into 2 separate workouts. Then you're technically still hitting legs twice a week because there's still a carryover.
Do you know what it is, bro? When I go to the gym, and I've tried this before, I don't really enjoy a hamstring session. It's very, very, very boring for me. Yeah, I rather know I can hit legs twice every 10 days.
Yeah, I get
and
that.
I can smash them hard because, bro, I've been trying to bring my legs up for ages, and I think you're right. I don't enjoy the hamstring day. So why?
It depends what you do. Like back when I used to deadlift a lot, that was actually my favorite session. Funny enough, because I used to just go in and like obviously that you do a couple of hamstring curls, and then you get into your heavy deadlifts, and that was like the highlight of my week. I also
kept the leg press on my hamstring day, which gave me that kind of like, you know, that was the biggie in it. So I would do my RDLs, but I'd also leg press, and that has a good carryover to the quad, which keeps them fuller, but it's no direct targeting to a degree.
The biggest issue I'm having now is, and I was chatting to Matt about it, because I've been spending the last year thinking about hamstring on everything, hamstring, I do leg press with my feet up to get hamstring,
Yeah.
Now, my issue, bro, is it's gone the other way. Now I find it that everything hits my ham.
Good.
And my quads are like, oh, you're not really going to train me much. Yeah. And even though I put my feet at the bottom of the leg press, it still hits my ham. Because I've become so...
That's not a bad thing. That's another... Because you were quad dominant, and I think... I know what you're saying right at this moment in time, but doing this change and having that is only going to benefit your legs, that's a fact.
Yeah, because I'm trying to do everything properly, and even I am doing it. So one session is I do the compound stuff first, and the other session I'll just start off with the adductors, glute drive, hamstring curl, leg extension, and right at the end I'll do the Rogers squat that you do.
Don't talk
and then I do the true squat right at the end.
Don't you mention it.
The other thing is, it just comes back to what we all like what Riz was saying earlier. He can't tag hamstrings onto something that's like a mental block. I hate doing something 2 days on, 1 day off because I don't have set days for the week.
Yeah.
Do you know, my mind, because my mind is always so fixated on, this is a work day, this is what I've got to do for work, this is what I've got already. I have to have my week laid out. I have diaries, I've got a calendar on my wall. So when I've tried to do 2 on, 1 off, like a push-pull legs or something, it doesn't matter how much I enjoy the sessions, if I've got that varying, push-pull off legs off it, and what I'm training changes on different days, I can't enjoy anything. My whole life's miserable.
Set it as like, say, push-pull Monday, Wednesday off, then you do legs. You can...
Well, what I used to do is when I did push-pull legs, I would have training days. I would keep the same training days. So the last time I did it, I would still train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. Excuse me, but I would just work through push-pull legs.
And you keep rotating
start again.
around.
Yeah. I can't have rotating training days, mate. It fucking warps my mind.
I think it really helps if your gym is open at a set time every day.
Yeah.
Because our gym here closes at 10 every weekday, and on the weekend closes at 8. So I know I can go to the gym at the same time every day. Before it was a headache. Oh fuck! I've got to go Saturday. I've got to go 12, and it would throw me off. And now I'm like, it's just another day.
This is the man that has 48 different gym memberships, mine, for one piece of kit in each one.
Listen to me. If they have another COVID year, I have a gym to train at. You lot are going to be fucked. And I'm going to progress. Now I'm going to go Jamie's gym. That's why I pay their membership.
I'm going Jordan's gym, bro.
Yeah, I'll be John's.
You'll all be shunned, mate.
We would be as well. I would be. Hilly would. Hilly be there waving anything outside. I'd be at the door.
Hi, how's everybody? I'm at work. I'm at the office.
Jordan said to Hilly, "Get the fuck out! You're touching my muscles while I'm training. Don't touch my quad."
So Dick, tell us about your quad tear quickly. Same as we did a big
same shit, different day. Literally, I think over 8-9 weeks now post hamstring tear, felt really good. Things were cranking, food was back in. Prior to the hamstring tear as well, I did my rotator cuff in as well. So I've had a chain of just odd, not optimal training. It's just been a bit shit. Felt great. New year was putting my positive hat on because I had a bit of a shit like year last year. Went in, fantastic leg session, stupidly strong, stacked everything, gym pins everything, all the way up to it. Loaded up 9 plates aside on the Roger squat press, touched it, squatted it, came back out, put my belt on, put my music on, set the tripod up, tripod wanker, second rep, popped my quad. So now my left leg is just completely fucked. However, when I did it, I was bad. You could see the hole in it already. You can still see it now. But the way that it's moving, I don't think it's going to be as bad as I thought it was initially. I don't think it's going to change the way it looks drastically. It's not in the sweep or anything. It's not high up. It's perfectly where the top of the teardrop kind of meets the vastus lateralis. So it will hide. The only thing at the moment is just very fucking stiff. And we mentioned it in the previous one. It wasn't recorded. Just the main worry now is like the mental block of it, because it just seems to every time. This is a genetic. We often talk about this, and I don't want to sound like a massive wanker when I say this, but I am strong from my musculature. There are people who lift the same weight as me, which are 280 pounds with identical forms. That makes sense. And this is where the genetic component comes in. But I do believe my body needs that load to grow more muscle. I've not found a way so far to stimulate it in the same way by doing higher volume. So I'm going to move now to, I'm going to pinch a plan off Hilly, which is a fours kind of thing that we did before. But I'm also going to chuck some giant sets in. I think what I'll do to manage it, even though it won't be as enjoyable, I know that, I don't think it will limit my ability to build muscle, but I think I'll do multiple sets rather than the working and back off, because I think that's my problem. I'm so focused on that higher number, and I'm chasing that higher number. I think if I say as an example in, let's say a squat again, or a squat press, or a Smith squat, if I'm doing 3 sets and I know I have X amount of numbers to achieve, and I'll jack those numbers up. So I normally work between 6 and 8 on my working sets. I'll get that to say 8 to 10 to 12 maybe. And then I know I can't be shooting for that. You know where you touch it, you're like, I probably got this. It's so you have to have this, so I'll do 3 sets, and hopefully it'll get better. But I think it'll be another 6. I think it'll be another 6 weeks until I'm training them properly again. I'm just hoping. When you have a hamstring injury, I was able to leg extend perfectly fine, with a little bit of pain, but not bad. On the quad, it's a bit different. Like, it's so tight that I can't curl back my legs at that moment. So I think it's going to be a case of actually not training legs for like a good 3-4 weeks and then just bang. I mean, I put a bottle of. There's a therapist at the gym. She's. Oh, I don't want to abuse him because I've done it so many times before. The guy with the mad doubts.
One rep max.
Him. Him. And she's a therapist, and she was there, and she had a look at it and stuff, and then had a look at it again. It was like, God, that swelling's really odd there. I was like, oh, that's not swelling. That's a bottle of BBC, a bottle of TP, and a bottle of glutathione, and a bottle of GH in that area there, was just sitting between the
skin. Fucking idiot.
I think the other thing is, like you said, doing more work sets, but just keeping your rep ranges 10 to 12 and above, nothing underneath. Yeah. I think that completely changed the dynamic. Yeah. And then, like you said, instead of looking at that 6 to 8 and then the 12 to 15, just saying, right, I'm just going to do 3 sets of 12 or 15.
Yeah.
You're creating the same stimulus with that, aren't you?
Do you think though? Because I don't think so. Because I think there is something to say about them 6 rep sets, 4 rep sets. Where
I don't disagree with that.
I
don't disagree with that. But I think
it's a reward too high.
Yeah, that's it. And I think there's And kind of.
But would you look the same way though? Because I like that thing. What you said about the strength to size ratio, that's actually not a good thing. Like as much as it is cool to be strong, like that used to be me when I was like 90 kilo and I was like pulling 260, 280 kilo deadlifts and like squatting in that. It's not a good thing for bodybuilding, because you've got to be so much stronger to get to that size. And I think once you like, if your body's predisposed to being strong, it's always gonna be strong. And I don't know if them sets like them
I agree. I
10
think
to 12 rep sets are the same as.
I agree. I think those 6 to 8 reps, especially in my early days, like Hilly knows, Hilly's watched the whole process. Like I put on a lot of muscle quickly, and it was my ability in my head just to do stupid shit. I was never scared. I was never worried about getting injured. That sort of stuff. I would just grab weight. And I'm not saying I have terrible form. I have good form, but I'm certainly not one of those weird clinical geeks, if that makes sense. It's taking 5 seconds negative.
Yeah, but you're not 25 anymore, bro, either.
And that's it. And that was like my other point is I'm getting on a bit now. Like I'm 31. I don't think my body is willing to keep putting up with that shit. And unfortunately, like we mentioned in the one we've just lost, there's no sign. There's no triggers. Like if I had a tweak and I ignored it, I'd say fair play, Deck, you're a fucking moron. But like I'm going in, warming up, doing everything correctly, working up in plates. I stand by the fact that was a 9-plate side squat. I was still going to go for 11. Like my number was 11 in my head. Does that make sense? That's where I was going. And the second one just pranged. So I don't think it's controllable.
Does where the weight goes on the Rogers machine, the pins, does it dictate the load?
I think, and this is a funny thing, because from my understanding, the top pin is more of like a front squat. And now you guys know how I squat. I squat very narrow and very upright. Like I squat differently to a lot of people. So in my opinion, the reason I moved to it, because I was stalling so much on Smiths. I couldn't get over like 5-6 plates. No matter what, couldn't get over 5 or 6 plates on my Smith squat. So I went to that because I thought it mirrored and suited very well. But maybe you're right. If I did the lower pin, but the only problem is it pulls a lot through my glute and lower back. Does that make sense? Which isn't a natural squat position for me. You get guys who squat wide and they kind of break
quite wide.
They break quite far forward in the hips. I don't do that, and when I do that, it's really uncomfortable. I think that's my knee surgery I've had and my poor ankle mobility. Where I'm upright and I use squat shoes, I can like stay perfectly in it and kind of like rep it out, if that makes sense. But I could try that.
My feet like that. Yeah,
my toes are perfect forward.
On hack I can.
Yeah.
I have to squat like that. My knees are close-ish, and if I leg press if I try and come out wide, it feels awful. It feels awful on my knees. I have to be quite straightforward. I have to be quite up and down.
I feel like I get a lot of hip, like there's a lot of hip flexion when I come out, but when I squat narrow, it suits me fine. But look, if I watch the video back, my squat mechanics, it makes sense how it snaps. Does that make sense? Like if you think where your knee's like this and it bends perfectly over a 90 degree angle, my foot's like this, so it's perfectly flat. There's no angle. As that load's come over, I've just gone to go up and it's just gone twang and push my knee out. Like my left.
If you watch the video, your left foot was slightly behind your right foot.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Did you? Because I looked at it a few times.
I watched it back yesterday. I was like, "Oh, fucking you, stupid fucking idiot!"
I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. Yeah.
No, I always squat now with my feet wider because my knee pain's completely gone. Touch wood.
Yeah, but that's that. It's certainly not gonna. I'm not gonna go into the depressive state I did with the hamstring one because that really fucking sent my head sideways. That really, because it was my first proper injury with like bruising. It was in the gym and that sort of stuff. The rotator cuff obviously had a car accident and it was like a thing happening over time, like wear and tear. But that was the first one, so that fucked me sideways. But I'm just going to get on with it, crack on.
Do you know one thing that worked really well for me? Like, about 2-3 years ago, I went through this phase and it wasn't good, but it was good as well. I just reset all of my training, and everything was super slow.
Yeah.
And I'd squeeze it and I'd let go, and it wasn't good because I was doing it too much. But I had no injuries then. Yeah. Everything was I'd make everything super difficult, super slow.
That's what I'll do now. So I had a push day. And even the machines I like to lift because I can move good load. Like we know, my chest and me are not friends. I don't connect very well with my chest. I have to really, really focus to get a good connection with my chest. Which over time, like Riz said, I've reset so many times to get to the point I can do it now, and it grows, and I'm happy with the rate of growth. But even those machines now for my push day, I've swapped out to new things where I'm literally going to do like the micro plate thing that Jordan does. Not going to get logbook, but I'm going to go like. So as an example, I would have easily jumped straight up to 4 or 5 plates, no problem at all. But I went 1, 2, 2 and a 10, 3. At 3, I did 3 sets of like 8 to 10. And then I stopped there. I probably could have got more, but I just stopped. And then next week, I'll put a 5 on. And I'll just keep going up that way on those machines that are very, very foreign to me, if that makes sense. But that'll be for back, chest, shoulders, all of it. I'll just move to something a bit different and try and reset it all.
And it really goes back to what we've actually seen. All of the most well-known bodybuilders on the planet have always done, right. You can't keep pushing your strength all of the time. We all know this, because you just start getting that strong, you run into injuries. So you have two options, and this is where I think whether you're doing a set of 6 to 8 and a set of 10 to 12, or you're doing 3 sets of 10 to 12, I think in terms of the muscle growth that you're going to get, it is going to be the same. Because you can't keep working in sets of 6 and 8 forever, because your tendons and your ligaments take that much battering over time, something breaks, or your body just gets to a certain weight where it can't handle it anymore. And I think that's where people get confused, and it's why I always go back to this: adapting your training as you go and doing more volume. It's not that one works better than the other. It's just, I think at some point every top pro bodybuilder has realised, hang on a minute, if I keep just doing sets of 6 or 10, my body is going to snap, because I can't lift that much weight anymore. It's just impossible. So instead of just doing one set of 6 or 8 and I'm at 4 plates and I'm at 5 plates, I'm at 6 plates and 7 or 8 plates, instead of just keep doing that, I'll do 3 sets with 5 plates. I'll do 4 sets with 5 plates, because your body needs that work. And it's, if you look at most of the top guys, they end up doing more volume over time, because the other option is keep increasing the weight to these ridiculous weights, and then you end up like, you end up tearing something like I've done, like you've done, like Chudley's done. And like Jordan is constantly rehabbing something. Jordan is tarring every muscle on his body.
Last week. So
yeah.
The gym pins are now no longer allowed to be rented out in the gym, by the way, because of me. Because of my hamstring tear, liability, they won't hand them out anymore, so you have to bring your own. I was like, fucking Jordan breaks a muscle every fucking day, blame it on me. They make me the fucking scapegoat.
And what I found worked really well, was, Hilly might not agree with this, I used to do a work set, so I'd do the whole 8 reps, 6 reps, chill out for the last few, and then go all out work set. Example, T-bar, I'd do 6 plates, then I'd do 5, and then I'd do 4. So I'd do 2 back-offs,
Yeah.
So on this first exercise, I'm already fucked. And what my goal was to fuck myself, so I know I couldn't load the next machine as much.
That's where my logic is going as well, yeah.
And then you do a work set and a 2 back-offs on the second exercise. You've now done 6 really hard sets, with not too much of a long rest in between, and you can't load anything after that.
What are your thoughts?
I think
Go on, Jeff.
what I'm just going to say is, like, because I had that exact same mentality when I tore that pec. I was like, I can't train like that anymore. I'm going to have to change it. And yeah, you change it for a bit, but I don't see that working. I think you're going to revert back to like the loading set, back off set, because I did that. And I think you need both. I think you still need to have that loading aspect. What I will say is what I've started doing a lot more is I'll do the back off set first.
That's the question I was just asked. That's exactly what I was going to ask. What are your thoughts too? Because I've done that. My better sets I always find, when you fuck your work set, so it's actually too light. So you put a weight on, you get to 6 to 8, like I've got more here, so you get like 14. And then you get a plate on and do your working set because you've got that there. I think that's a good safety barrier for my retardedness in my brain, because it stops me going, I'll reserve here and not the plate. I have to prove that I'm not reserving. I get the reps and then go up. Does that make sense?
You really all just do. And the funny thing is, where we laugh at people that are stuck behind this wanting to name push and pull and legs or posterior days and whatnot, we're doing the same thing with this. Because what's the difference between doing what you watch Jay Cutler do or what you watch certain people do, where they do?
Yeah.
So like today when I did, what did I do? So to leg press today, right, I could have done warm-ups with 2 plates aside, 4 plates aside. I could have done 6 plates aside for a set of 4. I could have done 8 plates aside for a set of 2. And then I could have done 10 or 11 plates aside for 6 or 8, excuse me. And then I could have done a back off of, say, 7 plates for 15 to 20. Or what I did is I did 7 plates for 10, 8 plates for 10, 9 plates for 10, and failed on the 10, right? And I'm fucked. Or what I could have done is like what you said, I could have done 8 plates for 15 to 20, the back off first, and then maybe got a 9 or 10. In reality, we're trying to force a way of naming something back off and work. Like the same as people are stuck behind naming posterior. Whether you're failing at, say you're failing at 15 to 20 on your first set, and then you're failing at 8 to 10 on your next set, that's still 25 reps. If I do 3 sets of 10, pyramiding up, I'm doing the same work volume, and that's my point is, find what do you in, because we're so focused on a work and a back off. What we're trying to do is finding a way of calling something a work and a back off or a back off on a work.
And
Which
and
is the same thing.
And the most annoying thing is, and we're all victims of this, we are smart enough to know better. Like, we tell people better. I advise people better. But my stupidity in my head is, my metric is still, that 6-repper is my metric of muscle. I know that's not true. I know for a fact that it's not true. And look, we've cut it off now, but go look at David Diash's last Instagram. That guy has just put a video up of him, safety bar squatting 10 plates aside. He's no longer doing that, and his legs are 3 times the size. So I know it. I know it's not the case, but there is a thing in my brain which is, from the early days, and a follower, it's fucking Jordan's fault. I'm going to fill him in when I see him, that more load equals more muscle. And that's just, I think it's a natural, it's homeostasis, what my brain resorts back to in the gym.
Some of the best leg sessions I've ever had is when I go in late and I'm actually like, yo, bro, I'm going to freestyle it because I'm running late as fuck. I put a plate on leg press, 10 reps, 2 plates, 10 reps, 3 plates, 10 reps. And I work, bro, I get to like 7 plates and I'm mashed.
Fucked.
But you don't train like that all the time, though, Riz.
No.
And that provides
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because if you train like that all the time, you won't. Because you'll be mashed at one session, but you can't do that all the time.
No.
I still think like load is gonna. It's a mental thing. Like, you can't just get past, especially when you train in the gym, like deck, where you've got all these strong cunts in there, pressing all this different weight, and there's going to be you there with 3 plates aside. Yeah. Fuck off, are you going to do that? You're not.
And it's like what Truddy says. January last year, I designed a plan, and I remember saying to you, and I wrote on my plan, you are not to lift below 12 reps. You have to stick with something till you get over 15. Once you get 16 plus reps, you can go up the weight to start again and work up. By the time I got to I managed it maybe till June, July or August, and then I just started gradually dipping until August, September, October, November, December, I was back working between 8 or 12s.
Yeah.
Because just the fun. And when I started working with AJ, remember that first fucking volume plan AJ gave me, right? I stuck to that fucking awful thing for 6 months. And as you know, I did, right? I remember looking, I never had more than 6 plates aside on the leg press. Never any more than 6. And like what Chudley just said, I remember doing it and looking about at these young kids, and they must be looking at me thinking, what the fuck's happened to Hilly there? He's normally got 12 plates aside on that. That little bitch hasn't had more than 6 plates on leg for the last fucking 3 months, right? And that's what was in my head. I'm looking at these little kids and I'm like, they must be fucking laughing at me. But like what Riz said, I was just as big as I ate 245 pounds, 246 pounds, which is the biggest I've been. That was the second time.
And the best legs coming down.
My legs looked, at best I'd looked, and I had no knee pain, no lower back pain, no fucking joint pain. So it did my progress no harm. My body felt better than it ever had done, but my fucking ego just could not deal with it at all.
That little fucking devil on the shoulder, that's him. He's like, go on, you fucking retard, do it. Do something stupid, let everyone watch.
I think, when you do the 6 to 8 rep on the working set, it's very, very favourable in a prep. Because in a prep, your strength doesn't dip. Your longevity in the session, your longevity in the actual
you burn out quite quickly.
In that exact set burns out. So if you know you can keep nailing that 6 to 8, and you can hold that, you're in a very good position to hold prep. Yeah, you're gonna drop a little bit. You drop a little bit of strength, but if you can stay around that number, you're in a very, very good spot.
The other offset for me with it, and it's a difficult one, and I mentioned this before. Like my body doesn't like to hold fullness very well, but that's even in the off season. That 6-repper, because it's very fucking, it does the work and the food combined together. As you boys know, my maintenance food over the past is a joke. Like, I'm eating 800 gram of carbs, 350 protein, 120 fat, and the scales will stay stagnant. That's a stupid amount of food to eat. And I'm not doing cardio. Go out for a walk a day with a kid. I'll do 20 minutes cardio in the morning or post-workout, whatever. So I can remove some output, but it's negligible. It's not a lot. The worrying thing is, if I start doing 3 sets of that, my food bill will be, I'll start whoring myself out on OnlyFans. And I probably won't get much money. So that's the other negative for me, is I'll really get my food up. Really thinking about me on OnlyFans now. That's why you that way.
Yeah. Your other option there, your other thought pattern is like you say, so you do your back off first and you do your heavy one. But then you also maybe do some more warm-ups, or you just make sure that the back off is 15 to 20. So as long as you're getting over 15, and then you make sure, I really do think the devil is in the rep range. When you're at that 6 to 8, it's that danger, it's that risk to reward ratio of you are running. I do believe that you're running a risk of hurting yourself when you're working in 6 of 8.
Every session.
Where we're higher, then I think the risk is like tenfold, even if you were just working in 10 to 12. Even though it's just 4 reps different,
Yeah.
I think that you are 10 times as likely to get injured working in 6 to 8 as you are working 10 to 12.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think as well? I think because like, let's say a couple of years back, you'll always start with a free weight exercise. Chest, you always start with either a barbell or a dumbbell. You always start with squats, like on a barbell. You're always gonna do barbell rows or deadlifts. Now we don't do that, or like a lot of people
Yeah,
don't.
you're right. I don't. Yeah.
I always have a free movement in my training for that purpose, to train those stabilizer muscles.
Yeah.
The little
That's a
muscles,
very
yeah,
good point.
yeah.
Now, you're right. And I use like the fly and stuff like that to warm the muscle up now, and then go straight into a very heavy press, which targets that muscle directly. Take the quad example. Leg extension, as direct as it can be, but you're very fixed. There's no stabilizer muscles being trained. You're not supporting anything. You're literally moving your leg up and down, and then straight into a squat, arguably on a very high pin, which keeps you perfectly upright. Which 100% of that load is going in through the quad flexion. If I was to do a Smith squat, as we know, and we joked about this because we were supposed to be doing Smith squats, but it was taken up, so we moved to this. I know my hamstring glute, but I also thought to myself, I was lucky, because if that happened on a Smith, bruh, I'd have folded.
It's going to be way worse.
I was folded because I was able to jimmy that thing up really quickly.
Yeah. But then the other thing is, though, how long have you been Smith squat and squat and you've never had a tweak?
Yeah, but once.
Yeah,
exactly.
not once. And it goes to what you and Chudley are saying there, the stabilizers. And the other thing, I think the problem with some of these machines is they just allow you to move more weight. Yeah. And with that more weight, you know, like what you said there, 9 plates aside. Was it 9 plates aside?
Yeah. I ain't squatting that.
That's what I'm saying. Even though it's not the same weight as it might be on a Smith or through your body, you are still, your tendon and ligaments are still holding.
Not even the Smith, because the Smith still, there's not really much stabilizing on Smith. You just unrack it and go. Yeah. Try and unrack a 4-plate barbell and then talk.
I don't even move.
Judge, I've got to do it every time when I'm in South Africa, and it humbles you.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, ego. I know I can squat 4 plates on a free bar, so I'm going straight to it, if that makes sense. And it is a different world of CNS fatigue. You do one set of that as your second exercise, because it always is. You ain't doing anything else. Yeah. Nothing else is going to be good.
But bro, this comes back to my argument when I told you lot before, I like to do my leg extension towards the back end of the session, and you lot give me shit for it. But in my argument then, after this conversation, I do adductors and then I do leg press. That's what I was doing. Yeah. And my legs this year have actually been very good. But is that because I'm now activating slightly more?
Potentially, but the only debate I had with you was...
Go on, Dick.
There you go.
Your adductors aren't doing shit for stabilisation, not in reality.
No, when I do my leg press.
Yeah, but you can tear your adductor off and still go leg press. So I would say no, I would disagree with that.
No, but isn't the leg press a stabilising movement?
The leg press, of course, is. But what I'm saying is, you were saying instead of doing extensions, you do adductor. So what I'm saying is that adductor first still isn't enhancing any of your stabilisers. Yeah. The only reason I do extensions first is if I don't, my knees hurt for every set of leg press I do.
And I do it.
You know what I think as well that a lot of people don't do? Sorry, no.
Go. Good.
An underrated exercise that a lot of people don't do anymore is lunges.
I still
like the walking lunges.
Just body weight as well. No weight. I still do walking lunges.
Yeah, I do body weight.
Yeah,
body weight.
I've not done them in years, and actually, because last time I went to the gym, it was just packed, and I thought, what can I even fucking do? So I thought, fuck it. So I went and done some walking lunges. Fuck me, I was fucked.
I got that from Neil Curry. One of the first times I met Neil Curry, he swore by his legs bear in mind, he was walking lunging 4 plates aside. But he swore by the fact that his legs and the way they were shaped came from how much he would lunge, because it was his main movement in his leg sessions.
I warm up for legs.
For a warm up on legs,
that's what I do. So every leg session, I do 3 minutes on the stairs, very slow, but I miss a step. So I do it's like a lunge, and then I go downstairs and up the flex, and I lunge the whole way up the red mat, doing long strides with a pause in the bottom to open my hips up, and then I stretch my glutes, and then I lunge all the way back down the mat with tiny little strides. So I'll start off with lunges, and I'll take big long strides to open my hips up. but I'll step in the hole for a second or two. So it's stretching my iliacus and my psoas muscles and opening up my hams and my glutes. I'll go all the way at the top, stretch my lower back, and then when I come all the way down, I do tiny little quick steps. And that started every leg session.
That sounds good. And the times that I have done a warm up, my leg sessions are so much better. Do I do that? Fuck no.
I do it every leg session.
Do you not stretch after training?
No, I should do.
I'm not that guy.
I should do.
This last month, I've been focusing on doing that. Even a bit of DC stretch after the gym.
The last 8 days of January.
I thought for the last month, I've been doing it. So I stretch my legs after every leg session anyway, even all year round. I actually find it helps big time.
It does. I spent 3 years. I've got a first class fucking honours degree in sports therapy and nutrition. I know that it's a great thing, right?
So why are you broken?
And every time
why are you broken?
Because I'm an idiot.
Do as he says, not as he does.
Yeah. Every time I watch people stretching after training, I'm like, I'm gonna stretch after my session. And I get the end of my session and I pick up my phone and I've got like 99 WhatsApps and fucking 99 emails and I'm like, I haven't got no time.
I see that dude stretching. You're the ones that are really into it. I'm like, you look like such a wanker. I'm not looking at that.
Well, it's usually the birds that I'm watching stretching. I'm like, I could be over there where the girls are stretching.
I tell you what, if I snap anything else, I'm moving to Dagestan, I'm shaving this moustache off, and I'm just coming back and beating cunts up. Like, that's it. I'm going straight to MMA. I ain't doing shit bodybuilding anymore. If anything, I'll snap. Done.
No, but honestly,
you're probably more snapped on MMA.
Well, I never used to get hurt before, but now it's just... I'm old. I'm much older now.
Bro, you're not 20, my brother. You're 30.
I know. I won't lie. As I said to you before, I went back to MMA, 5, 6 months ago now? I was like 3 weeks in, bang, my tendons went to my elbows, like I couldn't hold on to people anymore, I couldn't punch. And do you know what the most frustrating thing is in the world? When your brain knows what you're supposed to do, but your body is so fat and heavy it cannot do it. It's fucking frustrating.
Right, has we got any questions?
We've got questions. Yeah, good. I've got. You do one, Riz, and then I'll do one. Who you been, Riz? Fucking hell, I've got mine waiting.
Hold on. Right, let's do these rapid fire, yeah?
My God.
GH, some pros and coaches are recommending taking it all at night now. What do you guys recommend?
Sorry, say again.
We're too busy distracted by honey, bless her.
Why are you so cute and your dad is so ugly?
Yeah. Hi, honey.
Hello.
Hi.
Baby.
Bless her. Her cheeks look like they've calmed down a bit.
Yeah.
Bless her. Look how gorgeous she is. Right, go on then, Riz.
Right, Jav said, GH, some pros and coaches are recommending taking it all at night now. What do you guys recommend?
Look, there's so many different things about it, isn't it? Like, if you listen to someone like Broderick, he'll talk about like the timing depending on what you want it to do. So if you're someone that needs fat loss, right, or wants to get the fat loss benefits out of it, then you'll take it in the morning fasted, right? If you want the recovery aspect, then you'll take it pre-bed. If you want like the sort of pre-workout benefits, then you'll take it pre-workout. So it just depends what you want to get out of it. I don't think it matters personally. I think as long as you take it.
People just follow trends, right? I have been a huge proponent for the last decade of if you want to grow...
I know word for word what he's going to say now. That's how long I've been a component of it.
Like what you just said there, right? If you want to grow for using growth hormone, you need a bolus dose, either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so you get a bigger IGF spike, or you take it all before bed every night. It's just common fucking knowledge, right? If you've just got to look at the science, exactly like Johnny just said. And the reason it's a little bit popular now is because Jordan can't be asked to do his shots split up during the day, so Jordan is taking all his growth through the night. And he's been doing that. Jordan used to be adamant about splitting his dose up. Now he's not bothered anymore. Jordan also wasn't taking growth for 6 months because his weight was too high. People just fucking jump on his balls or what someone else does. I think another popular coach mentioned it, right? So then everybody's doing it. It really is like Judley said, and everybody will agree on this. The most important part is taking it, first and foremost.
Yep.
Remember, and then when are you going to remember to take it? Then the second thing is, what are you trying to achieve? Again, like exactly what Judley said. If you're trying to do fat loss, we know 1.5 IU is the threshold for increasing lipolysis. So you want a shot on a morning before your cardio, and in an ideal world, if you can be asked to do 1.5 IU every 3 to 4 hours of the fucking day, then that will enhance fat loss, maybe a little bit. If you are trying to grow, you want a bigger bolus dose. If you can afford to do 10 IU every night before bed, do it, and you can deal with the sides, that will work better. For most people, they can't deal with the sides and they can't afford it. So 10 IU every other day before bed will be better. If you can't handle the sides, try splitting it up 5 IU before training and 5 IU before bed.
That's why I don't do it all before bed, because I can't handle the sides. My hands swell up. So I take a bit in the morning, a bit pre-gym, and a bit fucking before bed.
Yeah, and that's something that's not mentioned. I'm telling you now, if you guys are listening, you haven't done this before, and you're using any of the engineered products, specifically like the turbocharged B2 or the L-carnitine, if you put that GH in pre-workout, 1 IU, see the difference. If you can tell me you haven't got a mad pump, Riz will suck you off. Like, I'm that confident. And you don't want to blow job off that beard and say that now. I'm confident it will make that much of a difference. But I favour, because I do cardio, and this is the important part, not everyone does. If you do cardio in the morning, even if you're off season, why wouldn't you bang an IU?
I take it, yeah.
Just for that tiny little gain of just mobilizing fat cells. If you're using L-carnitine, that enhances the reason for doing it. If you're using L-carnitine or turbocharged B2 pre-workout, why wouldn't you use it? If I wasn't using any of those things, and I was a person who naturally didn't get very fat, I just bang it all in before bed. But I'm also a person that, bar from that fucking Omnitrope, it doesn't really affect it doesn't improve my sleep. With the Omnitrope, I just couldn't fucking stay awake in the day, which was the worst. But it doesn't really affect my sleep. I don't get a deeper or better sleep from GH personally.
And another reason was, I'm sure Dr. Dean came out with a post saying that if you're taking it before bed, you're not getting the same maximum lipolysis effect, before cardio as you would before bed. And he posted some sort of science, so all the science nerds jumped on that. But if we look at the graphs and the dog shit, and then we use common sense with the graphs, right? Yes, what Dr. Dean was saying is right. It takes time for the lipolysis to release the fat to be burned. That is correct. However, why then negate the common sense part? If you were trying to lose fat, are you burning more calories from 6 a.m. in the morning till 11 a.m. in the morning, or are you burning more calories during the night? So do you want to take the growth hormone at 10 o'clock and it spend the next 6 hours freeing up fat, and then you only do exercise for an hour or two to burn the free fat? Or do you want to inject the growth hormone at 5 a.m. so it starts freeing up more fat to be burned, and then while you are on your feet, moving about, making your breakfast, doing your cardio, going to work, moving about in the office, building a fucking house, whatever your job is, you will be burning more calories, and more of those calories will be burned from the effects of the increased lipolysis. One way is not right to the other. You can just argue one way or the other. The only thing I don't like about the post that Dr. Dean did is it is very focused on the science part, which I would agree makes more sense before bed. However, when you factor in the fact that you're not really burning any calories during your sleep, or you're not burning as much as you are when you're awake, it would make more sense to do it on a morning. The irony is, the funny thing is, you've only got to go back about 15 years, and you will find Milos Sarcev was telling everybody to do his growth at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Guess why? Because he had the common sense to read the fucking science that other people have read that says it takes a couple of hours, but it also makes no sense to do it at 11 o'clock when you're going to be doing your cardio at 6 and burning calories. But
the issue with these studies is it doesn't take into account people using anabolics, insulin, metformin, T4,
and also that waffle that was posted was specifically to sub-Q. It wasn't intramuscular, which increases the uptake rate by like fucking 50 times. It's mental how quick insulin's I am.
I am just going to go back to my old saying, look at the author, look at the results.
That's it. Listen to the biggest guy in the gym. Advice. Do that. Yeah. You'll be fine. You'll be massive.
I'll go next one, because I've got one, because it's a great one. Cardio after training sessions, will this ruin your gains? As some people say you shouldn't do cardio after training.
Absolutely.
Oh, fuck off. Next question.
If anything,
what was the question?
It's my favourite time to do cardio. I love it in the sense of, as I just mentioned, I use L-carnitine products and GH.
Are these people that ask this question at their first day in the gym?
No, what was the question?
The question is, and this is a common question, it's a very common one. Should you, because some people out there are adamant you shouldn't do any cardio post-training, cardio after training, will it ruin your gains?
Why would it? You've just burnt glycogen training.
And this is the thing. This is what everyone needs to remember. And let's talk in bro science. Let's not talk of studies. Let's talk of bro science. We understand what our carnitine does. In its simplest form, it will use fat as fuel. The growth hormone mobilizes that fat as fuel. The reason people favor fasted cardio to get lean is because their blood glucose is in its lowest state, so your body will prioritize to use that fat as fuel. In bro terms, you can mirror that process by doing cardio post-workout. So why wouldn't you do it? It's certainly not going to take away from any muscle being gained. It's not going to take away from your performance. And if anything, it'll probably stop you being a little more fat than you already are and get your body to be ready for its post-workout meal. Because let's be honest, 99.9% of you aren't really training fucking hard enough, so you're getting away through all your pre-workout food anyway.
Yeah. My thing on that question would be, there is no way on this earth doing cardio that bodybuilders do after weight training for 20 minutes, 30 minutes or 40 minutes will have any negative impact on your recovery, especially when 99% of us are drinking amino acids and shit while we train. On top of that, you can watch videos of Dorian Yates, Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, NASA fucking El Sombati, who's the biggest cut on the planet, all doing cardio after their training in the off season and in prep. So if it had any impact on you losing muscle or gaining muscle, why are these bodybuilders doing it?
If I had a
Goes round in
choice,
circles.
if I had a choice like I do right now, and my cardio is not that high, I do all in the morning. I really enjoy that.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. My first place for putting cardio is on wake because it improves your digestion, it pulls your blood glucose down, and it sets you up mentally for the day. However, exactly like Dex said, there is no way doing some steady state cardio after training is going to impact your ability to grow. If anything, you could argue from a sciencey geek standpoint, it's going to pull your blood glucose down a little bit further and make you more responsive to digesting the food that you're going to put in. So there is, now don't get me wrong, if you've just trained legs and you decide to go and do HIIT fucking sprints, right, for 45 minutes to an hour, that would be fucking moronic, right? If you just train legs and then you decide to go mountain bike riding and try and get your fucking bike up fucking hills for 3 hours and not eat, that would be a stupid thing to do. But getting on a treadmill or a bike and doing 20 or 30 minutes cardio or even the stairs lightly,
yeah,
right,
well, they have a lot of
is
mooch
not
on
impacting.
Instagram. It goes,
It'll put you in a better position than ever. You know, it's just mad.
What's the
Next question, Riz.
Let me check. What's the good ones? What amateurs are you looking forward to seeing on stage this year?
I honestly don't pay attention, unfortunately.
They're all fucking Basics clients. That Sam Carrier kid, I want to see that kid again. And his the little guy he's got. Sorry, there's a guy I follow. I've not ever followed him, but I've watched him through Dan. He's a young lad. He went from natty to being enhanced or on cycle, and he's a classic guy. He's got a tiny little waist.
The Asian guy.
No, he's white.
Oh no, I know you're on about. Yeah, he's sound as fuck.
Mate, he's going to be so good. He's got all the tools. So I look forward to seeing him get on stage. I think he will this year.
No, he's a really, really nice guy too.
Yeah, and obviously the whole of the engineer squad, I suppose.
Yeah, Matt Barmer will do some damage this year if he competes. JP is an amateur.
JP's going to compete this year. That will be nutty to watch.
I want to go to that.
I will be there.
And I want to see him just stood next to like some of the standard we've seen at local shows. It will be Banter.
Now, have you ever seen JP pose before on YouTube? Nabba, he makes noises like "Hush."
Yeah.
He does them proper. He's sick.
JP's the answer. We've completed it. That's the best answer, isn't it? Surely.
There's so many good amateurs. I don't keep up, and it's impossible. And I'm always just focused on either yous and my clients. I have no other time to be tracking people on Instagram, unfortunately.
To be honest, my client Mitch Tills has come into his own recently. The little prick.
Yeah,
he'll be good this year.
Mitch is much denser in real life than he looks in pictures. Well, do you remember that kid we rated his mate Macaulay? We did when we did rate your physique.
Yes, good.
He looked okay, bro. That kid in real life is a fucking unit,
bro. Macaulay's a unit, bro.
He's a little dwarf. No offense, mate, but he's a fucking unit.
No, bro, he's built round.
Yeah,
bro.
he's big, mate.
He's built round. He looks like he's black.
Yeah,
He's round.
big.
Benefits to using L-carnitine pre-bed. I already use it pre-fasted cardio and pre-workout. Would there be any benefits pre-bed?
My bro, if you want to jab more stuff, jab your gear. And go
I
to
liked
bed.
it. I liked it. I did see an improvement in my sleep with it. I don't do it anymore because I'm just sick of pit needles myself, and that means because I use glutathione every night, means I've got to run another slim pill, which I'm not willing to do for the slight benefit, but I did like using it pre-bed.
I think look, I'm going to say it straight up. If you're in off season, just keep your L-carnitine pre-gym. That's where it's going to most effective. That's where I do all of it. I'm not waking up jabbing it pre-cardio. I will save that for prep when we need to. When we're really digging, I'll put it in pre-bed.
Yeah.
It's simple, yeah. Save some injection shots for more trim. And more
Question
muscle.
is?
This is actually a very, very good question. Supplements to help someone with PCOS. I'll start off with one, metformin. You can crack on.
Yeah, and if you don't want to take metformin, because a lot of girls aren't into taking pharmaceutical drugs, then you need to be looking at a glucose disposal agent, because we know that PCOS is one of the direct side effects, or the main cause of PCOS symptoms is insulin resistance. So you just want to be focusing on anything you can do to improve insulin sensitivity. So berberine, a glucose disposal agent like trained by JP, Ensure, L-carnitine, we know massively improves insulin sensitivity. So you want to be looking at doing everything you can to improve insulin sensitivity. When I work with female clients that have this, fasted cardio is a must. Making sure the glycemic load of the meal, not the glycemic index of your food choices. So you want to be making sure that you're not spiking insulin heavily every day. You then want something like a GDA, like trained by JP, Ensure. You want metformin. You want L-carnitine, would be a superb supplement to have in. Anything that, so the individual ingredients, ALA, berberine, or chromium picolate, whatever it's called, but something like trained by JP Ensure has the majority of those in, or you could buy them separately depending on what country you're in. Those would be my go-tos.
There is one more thing, because I work with 2 clients who got PCOS.
It's a hard one though, because it's a big answer. This, but it's a big question in the sense of it also has a massive effect on your hormones. So it's very specific to X individual. Like Hilly's had a wealth of experience with this with one of his female clients on increasing testosterone naturally and things like that. It really depends where you're sitting hormonally, where we can apply certain hormones to help balance your hormones out, so you have a better experience with it, you know.
Because you get PCOS where they've not got their period. You get
Correct.
PCOS where they've got their period.
Yeah, where the estrogen or whatever, or it's completely all the testosterone is too low, too high, because they grow. It can spike testosterone. They grow a lot of fish.
It affects your thyroid massively as well.
But and you've got to look for reverse T3, so you don't just check your T3 and your T4. You look for reverse T3 in the blood, so you've got to pay for a specific test. Yeah. And if a female has high reverse T3 levels, that is more or less one of the most indicative signs that someone has PCOS, because it means that their body is not able to transfer T4 to T3. So the T3 level will be low, the T4 might be normal, but the reverse T3 will be high.
So it can convert.
Yeah. So when there's a conversion taking place, but it can't convert, and I don't understand the nitty-gritty science, what I do know is that one of the main signs the main signs you're looking for with someone that has PCOS is a high fasted blood glucose, or on blood work your HA1, whatever it is, number being high. Your reverse T3. Those are the 2 main signals that you can directly look at in terms of scientific data that would indicate a main PCOS. And then obviously your hormones being out of swing, and then but one of the, if you're a female, if this question's from a female suffering, or if you're a coach and you've got because I've done a few consults with coaches that have clients that have this, your main focus, because if you're not that educated on it, your main focus should be on improving insulin sensitivity, because one of the main side effects that all females are suffering with is insulin resistance. And if you improve their insulin resistance, they will directly start to feel better. What's his name? Oh, who you were coaching with, broke his arm. Johnny's missus. I helped her and then you helped her, mate. She had drastic improvements in her PCOS symptoms simply from fasted cardio, better balanced meals,
Yeah.
some GDA supplements. She literally sent me an email like, "Hey, I feel so
But
much different."
I find, and I not always bang on about digestion, but I think just the overall food choice.
Yeah, of
You
course.
you can't use the refined carbs. You can't use the your
Well,
pastas and your
Well,
gluten.
well, that's what I'm saying, because that's the glycemic index of your glycemic load of the meal. You need to be. This is one of the specific situations where you want to be. Brown rice, sweet potato. Every meal wants to have a carb. So if people don't understand, a glycemic index is how much something spikes your insulin when you eat a food on its own. It's pretty much useless, really, because no one eats rice on its own.
Well,
But a lot
unless
of
you're
people,
Asian.
unless you're Asian, yeah. But people don't understand that. Whereas the glycemic load of a meal is how much how much insulin response you get when you have the chicken, the rice, and the nut
And
butter
All of that as well.
and the
Yeah.
fat, and but then not just that, then the veg in it as well. Because if you take chicken, white rice, wilted spinach, and olive oil, right? So the oils, although there's a fat in there, all of that will break down quicker than if you had beef, sweet potato, green beans, and you added a whole egg or you added a nut butter. So if you take your chicken and rice, if you have chicken and then you have brown rice and you add a nut butter to it and you add green beans, the glycemic load of that index is so much lower than if you had white rice, say if you had jasmine rice, sweet chili sauce, spinach and chicken. You're still getting the same macronutrients technically, but the glycemic load of the meal, the insulin response is drastically, and I'm talking like...
Think is, like Hilly says, what you have to think is, you've got to put it in a blender, yeah?
Yeah.
And it's got to go glug, 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 glug.
That's
and
the
that's what
fucking
you want
one.
to have.
Yeah.
That's what you want to have.
And that's why, if it fits your macros, is bullshit, guys.
Bullshit, yeah.
Lesson 101.
But that's it, and that's why that blender analogy is so much simple, because if it whizzes through the blender easily, then it's going to have a high glycemic index load, because it means that the whole meal is going to be whizzed up and digested quicker. It's going to dump into your system, so your body is going to need more insulin response to deal with it, because it's had more glycogen fall at one time.
I got
And
one
just
more
the other
question
side of that, with the insulin sensitivity as well, like if the reason he spoke on that so much, just so everyone understands, specifically females, is the negative cascades off the back of that if you don't fix it, because you're going to get fatter, your metabolism is going to slow, your hormones going to be even more imbalanced. Like the negative cascades from not fixing that point will be detrimental. That's what will cause you to feel like shit. Not the PCOS. It's post that fact, if that makes sense.
I got a good question here. Chidley can answer it. He'll like this question.
Go on.
Thoughts on science-based coaches?
The thing is, right, I think when it comes to like those geeks and the scientists and that, I think it's all good. But all you got to do is just look at those guys and go, do I want to look like that? And if the answer is no, then don't do what they do. Right? Because I can't think of one science-based coach that actually looks the part. And again, like, I'm not saying that you've got to look, because most coaches don't look better than their clients. That's assumed. It's fine. But I think because they preach certain things and they go, this is the way it's got to be done.
You stupid
Fuck off, Riz.
Carry on. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I've got some of them somewhere to be fair.
Well, no, the problem is with this, right, is we could win this battle every time, but there's one fucking anomaly here, and that's that bastard John Jewett. This is the problem, because they lose 9 times out of 10, but then you got John Jewett.
But John Jewett, though,
and have you seen his missus?
John Jewett used to do the same shit that like the bros do for 15, 20 years, and then all of a sudden now he's shifted because he sees that there's a market to where he can sell shit to idiots
on his app.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
In John's defence, though, from the stuff that I've read of his, I wouldn't put him in the category of the... I wouldn't. In the science-based coaches, because... So, when I see a science-based coach, what my mind thinks is, everything they recommend comes from what the literature says. Whereas for me, with John Jewett, from the stuff that I've seen him do with people, he just understands the really scientific shit about the stuff that we all do. that we would say is bro science, and then he's just shifted that. So I think that he treads a line between. He's not saying, right, train with reps in reserve because the science shows you don't need to go to failure. Take these drugs because a study was done. What he's saying is, we're going to take these drugs because I've taken all of the drugs, and actually I felt better doing this. And when I've deep dived into the science, it makes loads of sense to me. Right. So whereas for a science-based coach, I see them as being right. You've got to start in a mesocycle because the science says that you can only progress for 8 weeks. Mesocycle.
You know what though? I love that geeky shit. Like, I'm all for it. I've always loved like science is just one of those things that I love. Yeah. So I always love. I'll look into it. I'll read it, and I'll go, okay, fine. But at the same time, you got to understand that shit doesn't always translate to us, right? So, like, I'll give you an example. Fasted cardio. Science will tell you it doesn't matter when you do your cardio. Now, if you want fat loss and you want to get the best result, fasted cardio does work better than fed. I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
Anyone who's prepped will die on a sword. You could throw a million books in front of them. They will say, shut the fuck up. I've done it. There's no fucking way it's the same.
And I think, okay, for a normal person who, or even a slightly overweight, like, okay, right, let's say for me now, I'm still, like, obviously just getting back on it. Doesn't matter when I do my cardio. No, it probably doesn't. But if I wanted to get into those, like, lower digits of body fat, that's when it matters.
And everybody knows I'm the biggest geek when it comes to some sciencey stuff. The books I've got upstairs are absolutely nuts, and I enjoy reading all of them. I think the difference is I look at the science to help either justify what I already know works or potentially give me insight how to make what I do a little bit better. What I don't do is read some science and be like, oh, well, this says what I know works is wrong, so I'm going to stop doing what I know works, and I'm going to start doing what a piece of paper tells me works. Like, I am sensible enough to be like, hang on a minute, every jacked motherfucker on the planet ate high protein. Every shredded guy we've seen on a bodybuilding stage did their cardio, fasted. So just because loads of kids at fucking university didn't lose any more fat, whether they did their cardio, like, it was done, I'm sure that main study that the quote was done on a fucking football team, who were all fit motherfuckers, who were all between 12 and 13% trying to get to 10%. Like whatever a fucking football team doing, whatever a football team is doing at university, or 3 football teams, plays no fucking relevance on what I feel knows work, because they've never gotten to a level where I've got to be, and they are never trying to get to a level I'm trying to get my clients to. So their information bears no relevance on what I'm doing, and I think that's the problem. These science-dictated coaches, most of them haven't been to where we're trying to get, or the ones that have did it well, but they will direct their guidance not based on anything outside of what a study says, which for me is not smart.
I think especially the studies on drugs, throw them out the window.
Yeah, I think it's all a front. I think it's all a front for some of them, because they're trying to be different. So they're like, we'll just go with the science approach.
Yeah, I agree.
And now everyone's doing that. So I think there's gonna be a shift now where everyone's gonna start reverting back to, because
it's
I think
already happening. You can already see the high test cycles coming back in, primos disappearing, slanging weight
everywhere.
Taking tests in EQ soon.
Everybody's taking loads of tests in EQ. Everybody, I'm like, fucking get out of here.
Every motherfucker's taking EQ, so all you labs out there, you owe me.
And the thing is, what annoys me is that it all still works, and I'll still do that. It's the same as we were talking about the growth and the before bed dosing. What pisses me the fuck off is, I know what works because I've tried it. So I don't change my methods based on what other people says. I continue to use what I've always done. I explain in the detail that as you joked, you know exactly what I'm going to say. It doesn't matter what any Tom, Dick or Harry. Jordan is one of my best mates. I used to ride cycles for Jordan. He's done so for me. But just because Jordan does something doesn't mean I change what I'm doing. And it doesn't mean I change what I'm telling my clients to do. The bit that pisses me off is all these motherfuckers, and some of them have got way more followers on Instagram and way more clients than I have. The fact that they change with the winds on what other people are doing, I'm like, I thought you were sensible, clever, good at what you're doing, and you must be a fucking idiot because you're changing what you're doing based on what someone else does. That's not the way my brain works.
It also just depends on what you're doing at that time, right? So if you're someone that's like in an off season, well, shit's going to be different. Like not just in terms of like with training, like what we just said, like Healy's doing the full body, Dex doing this, Riz is doing this, I'm doing that, and that all works. It's all valid. You know, it doesn't mean that one of us is wrong. It just means that what we're doing at the time is working. It doesn't mean that like Riz is doing a push pull, rest legs, rest repeat. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to go and do that in 6 months' time because I've done it.
And he's a prime example of why things should change. So I was saying to you, I'm sure it was used the other week. I've noticed this last year. So I've always been in favour of having a cruise with test and either primo or master. And I'll usually go for primo when I know people need to control estrogen more. Whereas I've now seen 3 or 4 pretty conclusive blood works from my client, because I've worked with them for 2 or 3 years, when I've had them cruise on test only, test and master, and test and primo. And now all 3 or 4 of these guys, when I've gone through the blood work from this year, start of the year, last year, and I make a note of what they were taking when each bit of blood work was done, every one of them have worst LDL when they've been cruising on even 40 or 50 milligram of primo. So now unless someone is massively estrogen sensitive and they need primo in, and even then I'd be hard pushed, I am going to stop people cruising on primo because it is making everybody's LDL high.
Shit.
So that is something that I am going to change, that I do, because I have collated blood work over the last 2 or 3 years with clients, and I've now seen enough evidence that tells me we're either better microdosing test or sub-Q dosing test, or using master or doing whatever we can to control estrogen, because we know that LDL is the cholesterol marker that has a direct relation to heart disease, and we want to keep it as low as possible. Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing I'm going to be on. DHB, I just remembered.
Yeah.
Only 50 mg, though.
That's a low motherfucker.
What, a day?
No. Wait, hold on. Let me pull up this.
It'll be interesting to see let us know if that toxicity creeps up on you, or that feeling of nah.
Yeah, I got that.
On what? On what?
On DHB.
Oh, I haven't been on cycle for 2 years. I'll feel great.
It took me a long time to see. It took me a really long time, like my ignorance, to really realise that. Hold on a minute. There is something. There's a correlation here that I've been feeling a bit like poorly almost for 4, 5, 6 weeks now.
And just
how much were you taking?
Oh, fuck all. I think I was doing...
Same as me, about 150.
Was it 150? 150.
Yeah.
So 600 tests, 200 primo, 50 DHB, 50 anadrol.
So, and that's Dan's training partner, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wonder, because me and Dan have been having a discussion for a while about where DHB, same with you, is where DHB is making you feel bad, where it's not. I wonder if that's Dan and Nat's new train of thought. Let's see how much of a low dose we can try so that doesn't happen. And still get and this comes back to what we were just discussing, right? This is the beauty of having friends like we do and a circle like we do. Me, Deck, Riz, Chudley, Dan. We are all constantly having conversations about what have you, and some coaches don't do this, and some people like to keep them stuff to themselves as if they've got a secret. The only way that we can all be better is if we all collate our information, because we're all working with different people. So same with this LDL thing I'm on about. The only way we can find out results is if we find out what more people, how bigger groups of people are affected by the drugs that we do. Same as a study. It's no good if you've got a fucking population of just 10 people. If you've got a population sample of 10 people, or you've got a population sample of 1,000 people, the study is obviously stronger.
That's the best thing about the engineering muscle group chat. It's great. Like when someone puts a question in, out of 10 responses, 8 of them are going to be different. But nobody's like, you're wrong. It's just, I do it this way, this is why. I do it this way, this is why. Like, there's no like, I do it this way, I'm the right way. And this is the problem with the science, guys, because everybody knows scientific is defined by factual. It's the closest thing to a fact is through science. And they speak in absolutes. That's the bit that absolutely kills me.
Well, science is about averages, though.
Yes.
So it's more, on average, more people found this based on this. So it's more... It's a fact based on an average. Was there a significant difference or not based on the population size? And it's what I don't like with some of these educators nowadays or coaches. It's like, this is the only way to do things. This is the way to do things. And it's like exactly what Dick just said in Chile. It's the absolute, that you can't, there is no part of what we do that has just one answer.
There is nothing, there is no off-season, no drug protocol, no fucking prep cycle, no drug cycle for off-season. There is no one way is the best with anything we do. And that's why I've always, no matter what else I've done, bodybuilding and this is the only thing that has ever kept my attention. My attention span isn't great because you can always find a different way of doing something to get a better outcome over time. And it's when someone sends me a video, I hear someone go, "This is the best way to do this." I instantly dislike that person because I'm like, you categorically can't say that. You're a dickhead for saying that because there is not one best way. There is fucking at least 50 ways of getting that same best result.
There's one really good question here that would probably be.
Wait, take them fucking glasses off, mate. They're doing my head in. You literally look like you look like one of those dudes. I get it on YouTube.
Listen to me, you
drive taxi kids, get them off.
Gypsy pirate, listen to me. I wore these last night for 2 hours, yeah? I put my CPAP on and I got 5 hours straight sleep until I got my coughing fit at 6 in the morning, yeah?
Did you go to bed after that, though?
What?
Did you go to bed and then wake up like 4 hours later?
Yeah, I felt fucked. I've been ill. Someone said, give me tips on how to stop binging and stick to a diet. Bro,
I'm leaving Riz is answering this on his own. Go, Riz.
Sorry.
Listen, right? I can give you
Riz was coming in with the rant. He's to say,
all right, go on.
Life shit,
Because I know what you're gonna say, but actually, I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say.
I'm going to pee while you do.
Because when you're stuck into bodybuilding, there isn't really you just think there isn't such thing. Just stop being a fucking pussy. Just do it, right? But I think when you get to a certain point that I got to after my prep last year, I fell off completely to where I was like, I don't want to diet. I don't want to eat chicken and rice. I don't want to eat cream of rice. I just want a normal fucking life. I want to be able to eat what I want.
Yeah, 2 or 3 meals.
I don't want to eat 6 times a day, right? But I think you got to think to yourself, do I even want to do this then? Because if you can't stick to a diet, you don't want to do it. So that might mean that you might have to take a bit of a break. It might take a month. It might take 3 months. It might take a year and a half like it did me, right? Now, I'm at the point now where I'm like, right, I look forward to eating my meals. I don't think about cheating on my diet. I don't think about skipping training. Like, now I actually want to get back into it. And there isn't an answer. It's just time. You just got to do it.
That's applicable to life, though, isn't it? When a bloke cheats on his missus, shags something else, they split up. He realizes what he had, and he goes back full circle. It's like there are people who would do what Chuds did and find more enjoyment on binging and being fat cunts over time, and not come back to bodybuilding. There are other people, like you said, will come back full circle and go, look, I actually missed this, and that will resonate with them forever. Then they'll stick to it. The binging question, I know we're being aired to me go just fucking man up. And I know that's the angle, but obviously we do understand there is a hormone or a ghrelin response which causes people to binge at times, specifically post-show. But if this is a case where you are just being a fat bastard, I genuinely believe, and it's not nice to say, you'll grow up. It's an adult thing. Like, you'll understand after doing it so many times, food's always going to be there. You'll grow up. You'll act like an adult.
Yeah.
You will know at any point in time. Yes, you might fancy a pizza now, but that's going to be there in 14 days, 24 days, 36 days. Unfortunately, I think these people just have a very immature attitude.
I don't think it's that. I think these are the people that get into training and get so hard stuck into it, but they've gotten into it for the wrong reason. So, like, their mates are doing it, or they see someone on Instagram that does it and it looks cool and they want to be part of it. They don't actually want to do it.
I would say if you have a coach and you're still binging, and if you told your coach you're binging, your coach should be able to fix that with a dietary change, yeah. And if you're still binging, then your coach needs to be
sacrificed. It's not just about. It's not always about dietary training.
But
it's
like, what it is, listen to me. If you, all of us here have binged before, yeah, to the point of fucking, you're fucked, yeah. And the thing is, bro, it comes up to one thing. People, let's just say you're the 6 days clean, and you're gonna have a cheat meal on a Sunday with your missus. Now, after the first bite, everyone be honest here. After your first meal, nothing really tastes that good. But people chase. I've said this before. People chase the fucking taste. they're trying to get the next best thing, and they eat the cookie, eat the cake, and they're like, shit, nothing hits, because nothing hits as nice as that first bite, and you get that massive dopamine response. Yeah, come with the scientific words today. But I think a lot of these guys, legitly, if you had a little bit more freedom in your normal meal plan, you wouldn't binge as much.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I also think there is a I don't care what anyone says, there is an emotional response as well to eating food. Like people, like Chaz mentioned, when you're feeling a bit down
Yeah.
it's a natural, for a lot of people, it's a natural dopamine hunt. It's just shit food, isn't it?
See, for me, it weren't even that, because you guys remember, because we were doing the podcast then, and I barely put any weight on. For me, it was more like, I don't want to see bodybuilding food. I want to get to a point where I'm eating once or twice a day, and actually got to that point. I mean, you know this, like, because I tell you, I'd be eating one meal a day, 2 meals a day. That's what I wanted. So it depends. If you're someone that's
so foreign to me. Like I can never even imagine eating I'm too fat. There's no way in the world I could eat one meal in the morning and be satiated till tea time and eat a tea. No fucking way.
I don't eat in the morning. I would literally leave it till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon till I eat.
But I look back at my life as a kid, yeah. When I was in secondary school, I'd have breakfast at home, and on the bus, I would have another munch. I'd get to school, and I'd have someone's dinner card and buy breakfast again. I'd have my break time meal, my lunchtime meal. And on the way home, I'd get a Greg's, no bullshit. And I'd go home, eat again. I'd play card and eat again. I'd always eat in 5, 6, 7 times. I'd be fat fuck.
You're a big eater though. Like, I've never been a big eater. I'm
not a big eater, bro. I struggle to eat.
I could happily go. Now I could just eat twice a day. It would just suit my schedule. But I've come to the opinion of, obviously there's a big environmental thing into this. If you're binging after prep, there might have been an issue with the prep. Like, I worked in eating disorders for a decade, right? So it depends on. And my issue is, I've seen people with real eating disorders, right?
Yeah.
So then when I've got people in the fitness industry saying they're binging and they can't stop their eating or they can't do this and that, a lot of the time, and I'll do consults with people, and a lot of the time, there isn't a mental health issue there. People are just being greedy cunts, so they can't stop putting food. So it's always a topic that I'm very wary of discussing, because a lot of people, when they're saying they've got a binging issue, it isn't that. It's either they're restricting too much because they're doing something wrong way, or they simply can't just stop putting food in their mouth.
Because I think a proper binge is
when people have real eating disorder binges,
days on end, yeah.
They eat to the point and they hide away and they won't go out in public, and there's, whereas really you've been on a diet for 2 weeks and you've just crammed a pizza and a tub of Ben and Jerry's, and then you're telling everybody that you've got a binge eating problem because you're doing it every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I must binge every night. I packet crisps every day.
When really what's happening is, either you've paid someone that doesn't know how to design stuff for your body, so you just over dieted during the week, or the other fact is you just can't stop, you just can't control yourself. Because the fact of the matter is, if we take real mental health eating disorders issues out of it, if you want to be in shape and you are fully set on achieving your goals, then you will not put shit in your mouth. If you can't stop putting shit in your mouth, then change your fucking goals, because you're just not strong enough to achieve it. For a normal person, because we all want to eat shit food, but we will all suffer to achieve our goals. If you can't stop putting shit food in your mouth, and by this I mean you're a nurse, right, or a doctor, you work on a ward, right? If you walk into the fucking nurse's station and there's a box of celebrities there, if you can't go in and out that nurse's station and not put one or two in your mouth, that's just because you're a greedy fucker and you can't stick to your diet, right? It's as simple as that. You're just not strong enough. If you are on a prep and you are starved, and all of a sudden you break because your child is having some pizza and you end up eating a full pizza, that is not a binge. That is just because there has been an environmental change within your set that has broken you. That happens. That has happened to me. And it is a weak. But what I'm saying is, it is a weakness. But that is not a. You haven't got an eating disorder. You're not binging. That is because you have deprived yourself for so long and you've just been unable to control yourself in the moment. And that's what I'm saying. There's so many different scenarios. But for a normal person, the fact is, if you are constantly binging and you've been dieting for so long and you just can't stop, then you shouldn't be dieting. Either because you can't follow the fucking diet, or because there's a mental health issue somewhere and you shouldn't be fucking doing it. And I've come to the conclusion that it's that simple.
There's a couple of things off the back of it, though, isn't there? Nobody on this planet has binged and felt better afterwards. Nobody. And you need to do it to understand how you feel shit. And if you are someone who is attaining your physique goals, so let's say you haven't got a shit coach, you're not there yet, but you're making those steps. Over time, you will learn, if you're this person that's worrying about it now because you're fucking up, you will learn you feel better in yourself by just looking better. That binge is going to put you back 4 steps and make you feel like a bag of dicks. And then the next time your missus, which I have all the time, is sat next to me and saying, can we get a curry or get a kebab? I'm like, no, I know how that will make me feel in the morning. I'll just eat my chicken and rice. That makes sense. Get what you want. But that, I'll be the first to say as well, that's taken me a lot of time. My problem is in the taste of food in any way, shape, or form.
It's eating food.
I eat till I'm satiated. You guys know me. My stomach is like a fucking bottomless pit. Like, it takes me a long time to get there. So my binge looks like a binge, whereas one person would take half a pizza to get to that satiated state where they're nice and full, they want to rub their belly and go to sleep. That takes me 2 fucking pizzas, 4 cookies, and 5 points of ice cream. You know what I mean?
But bro, I think what you said earlier on makes a lot of sense. Once you grow up, and you've been doing this shit for a long time, this is like Dee's first proper year working with the coach, working with Romana, and Romana has hammered her a little bit. Which
How
is
much?
thing,
How much training is she taking?
All of it.
All of it.
So on this last holiday we went to Dubai, Dee was eating more than me. I looked at her and I goes, yo, what the fuck's wrong with you? And she goes, I'm just hungry, Riz. And I was eating my meals. Do you know, once you hit the spot, I was like, I'm done. And in Dubai, they give you loads of free extra shit.
Yeah,
nice.
they do.
And gave me a free burger. And I looked at her and I goes, yo, I could just about eat fucking 1 burger. I goes, what am I going to do with the second one? And I was happy just to eat it, taste it, and that was it. But I think people, when you're not been doing it for a long time, you chase it, you chase that taste.
But we also, and this is going to sound a bit egotistical, we get a lot of, all of us here, get a lot of fulfillment out of other areas of our lives. A lot of those people don't. Some people have dead-end jobs, shit relationships, hate their life. So their fulfillment comes from food. None of us here, at no point is the highlight of our day going to be a pizza. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's never
we
going
do
to
that
happen.
to spend time with the family.
Yeah, and if anything, exactly, it's the opposite way. It's fulfillment with the people you are around you, or shutting off for an hour or 2 hours. Like, that's.
But do you know what? Even what I've been doing recently, because Hilly's giving me these fucking high days and shit, which is sweet. And I went to Dia, goes, she was like, have an off plan. I goes, you can have yours. I'm gonna have my meals because I've got to eat 2 more meals. And I said, I goes, what I'm gonna do? Hilly's giving me a cheat meal, but I don't want to have it. I'm just going to have half a chocolate bar today. I'm going to have half a chocolate bar tomorrow. And that'll be me nice. And that, bro, it hits the spot.
But once upon a time, that wouldn't have been you nice. Once upon a time, it was a burger, wings, and then a chocolate bar. And I said, it's a maturity thing.
I would have done everything.
It's a maturity thing.
Because I'm like, what do I actually want? And what me and Dee do now is, and I'll drop it, mate, I said, we go to Tesco's on a cheat meal night or whatever. I'm like, buy what you're going to eat. Because what you don't eat, I'm chucking it in the bin.
Yeah, we've done that for a long time. Always do that.
I chuck it in the bin because, and I said to her, in my preps, never ever buy me fucking food. Don't plan to get me this because I will throw it. Bro, I threw £100 cookies last time.
I remember.
Out of anger. I goes, fuck that. I goes, fuck this. I just chuck them all. And I chucked them. I goes, I said to her, if they're not gone in the morning, I'm chucking everything.
Thing is, something like that, I can see, like, if you go into the cinema and you get a bunch of snacks, like, that's cool, that's good. But, like, I'm not going to get a bunch of snacks to just, like, or I don't know, M&Ms or pretzels, eat them at home. Like,
it's not like buying a gram of packet on your own, sniff it and watching TV. That ain't normal, bro.
That's
you
what
with the boys, you roll their minds, mate. You're
you
get 3 of them.
Sharing them and chatting loads of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I honestly think, do you know when you get older, and Hilly used to say to me when I was a bit younger and Hilly was younger, Hilly'd be like, bruv, he'd be like, Riz, just eat what you want and it'll be enough and then get over it. And I used to be like, oh, nah, but I want a big munch. And now I'm thinking, yo, bruv, I sort of feel like Hilly a few years ago.
But if you take anything from this conversation you ever asked the question is, just remember this. There's no way in the world you're going to feel, there's no way you will feel better from going off plan and binging. There is no universe.
No, but people know that though. People know that though, and you still do it because we still do it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's. I think the answer is ask yourself why you're doing it, and if the answer,
do you actually want to do it?
Yeah. That's it.
There's one thing that worked very well for me, and it still works to this day. I'll pick up, let's say, the last snack, I look at it and I say, swear on my mum's life, I'm not going to have no more. And I walk into the kitchen. And then I walk into the room and Dee's like, you want some more? I'm like, nah, I swear my mum's, I'm not having no more.
Can't do it now. Can't do it.
I can't do it.
That's the best way to end the podcast, boys. That
Yeah,
is-
I was just
that
just
is
going to
Chris's
say
life wrapped up.
that is with his life wrapped up, right?